What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so we're going to be going over the final uniform on the list here, which is going to be Scarlet Witch's new Infinity War uniform. So let's go ahead and take a look here. The uniform bonus is going to be decrease physical damage received by 15%, increase mind damage by 20%, and enhance the effect of skill recovery spell, which is going to be her 4-star passive, and it's going to keep the same heal and same reflect, but the only change or addition to the skill is going to be a decrease to energy damage received by 10%, and of course that's going to activate whenever she uses her third skill. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at these skill changes here. So no real changes to the the second skill here in terms of the text, and then we move on to the third skill, which does have a few changes on it. The remove effects are all the same for the HP recovery, the time freeze, shield barrier, and all of that. But then the additions to the skill, or the new effects, are going to be removes active buffs from target, which is really nice because that is the same thing that Thanos' new uniform does. So it's really nice. You can strip away buffs that normally you can't get rid of, like tier 2 passive, leadership, those kind of things. So it's going to be able to strip them of their active buffs instead of just something that they have activated during the fight. This can remove stuff that was activated at the start of the fight, so that's a really powerful skill right there. And I believe it looks like it's only going to remove, it says active buff, so it might only remove one buff at random from the target. So I don't think it removes all of them. I'm not 100% sure on that because of the wording there. But anyway, the other new additions to the skill are going to be the decrease to mind resistance and also the decrease to all defense. Those two have been added as well to this skill. And then one thing that has been changed with this skill is going to be the guard right there. So previously it was not a guard, it was a immunity to damage for 5 seconds, but now we have a guard for 5 hits for 5 seconds, which that is a little bit of a weak guard. So switching out the immunity for the guard is, I don't know, it's okay, but as you'll see, all it did is swap where the guard and immunity are basically on her skills. So that is her third skill there. But then if we move down to her fourth skill, this is the one that now has the immunity to all damage for 5 seconds, whereas previously this one had a guard hit. So pretty much just swap between her two skills. Not sure which skill I really like it on better, but either way we're still getting a guard and immunity to damage, so it is fine. But this guard is a little bit weaker than her previous one, because her previous one was the premium guard, I believe, for the 8 hits for 8 seconds. But anyway, it's only 5 for 5 seconds now, so you need to keep that in mind. And yeah, so that's going to be the change to that skill. So now we're moving on to this last skill here. As I already mentioned, the immunity to damage is going to be new for this skill, or changed for this skill. But then one of the cool things that have been added to this skill is she now has mind control. So that's really cool. She has mind control for 5 seconds, and then the damage received increased by 6 seconds to the enemies. So both of those effects are going to be new, because I believe she still had the all defense and mind resistance reduction on this skill, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, the mind control is definitely new, and the increase to the damage the enemy takes is definitely new as well. So that's pretty cool. Now she has a kind of premium crowd control that she can take advantage of. So yeah, it just makes her that much more deadly in PvP if she uses this skill. And then also this is going to make World Boss Ultimate a little bit easier, because now you have a way to kind of, I don't know, pacify them while you're out of iframe, or your skills are on cooldown or something like that. So it is really nice to have. Yeah, so those are going to be the actual changes to the skills themselves in terms of what they do. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the skill animation changes. Alright, so the 3 skills that were changed were the second, third, and fourth skill. Because as you can see, the first skill is exactly the same. Well, not quite. The boxes look like they are a little bit redder than before. They seem like a little more bright red than I remember, unless I'm mistaken there. But besides that, it looks exactly the same. And then the second skill, as you see now, she just pretty much picks up chunks of the ground and just tosses it at the enemy, which is pretty nice. And then it does have a little bit of a residual damage effect. As you can see, the rocks fly around for a little bit after the skill. And it looks like you can cancel it part way through, but you don't get all of the kind of additional rocks flying around. So the longer you let the skill animate, it looks like the more, well, maybe not, the more, looks like what, we got like a few of them flying around there. If we cancel it right away, yeah, we only get, okay, so we only get one rock that way, but if we let her pull up twice, then we get two of them. Alright, yeah, so that's not bad. So you can cancel it depending on how long you let it go. Will depend on how much, I guess, extra damage you get from it. And now we're going to move on to the third skill. So as you see here, she activates all her buffs, and yeah, she has a channeling skill there, and you can actually move around while using it. It's not like a channeling skill like what, Nova, Anti-Man's, Blue Marvels, because it does have a kind of time limit to it, because if I don't press anything here, it's not going to go on forever. It will automatically stop on its own. So it is something to keep in mind, but still, it's a really nice skill, because you can move around while using it, so that's really nice to kind of be able to avoid attacks. And then it does have, as you can see, those flying kind of like, I don't know what it's called, those like chaos orbs or something like that are hitting the enemies, so you can even cancel out of it if you want to, I think. Yeah, there you go. You can still see those little orbs flying around a bit. Oh, actually, they're just coming from her person. Never mind. Alright, so now finally we're moving on to the fourth skill, which is the only other one that has a animation change. And boom, that looks, yeah, that looks really, really nice. That's pretty much like, what is that, like Nova's kind of fifth skill, sort of? Well, kind of, but it's really cool looking. And then you do have residual damage right there. It looks like, as you can see, it kind of drops like an orb. It goes away pretty fast, but that orb right there is what's doing the extra damage to them, and I think you can cancel this out. So if you just, yeah, as you can see, the orb was still there, so you can cancel this out pretty much right away, and you still get all of the damage from the fourth skill, so that's really nice. And then, of course, the fifth skill is going to be exactly the same as it was before. So yeah, overall, I do like the skill changes to Scarlet Witch here. The animations are looking really nice, so I'm definitely enjoying that. And it looks like she's going to be pumping out even more damage than she already was before. So yeah, I can see her being a real powerhouse. But something I should mention is she did lose an iframe on the second skill, so that's going to kind of hurt her rotation in terms of if you don't have immunity to guard break on her. So I definitely think she needs immunity to guard break more than she did before with this uniform here, just because there's a lot more chances for her to get interrupted. So that immunity to guard break seems like it'll be a lot more valuable, especially since a lot of her skills do massive damage if you let them fully animate, so you definitely want to take advantage of that. But you could probably do something like, what do you want to do? Get a little bit of damage here, pop that, maybe go into this skill or something like that. Or maybe you can do, can you do that? Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff like that as well. You can cancel the fifth skill out and still get the damage from that one as well, so maybe do something like that. Oh, I canceled the fifth skill a little too early that time. How long do you have to let it animate? Yeah, you've got to let it to animate until the ground starts breaking apart pretty much, and then you can cancel it out. So yeah, definitely a lot more damage, and since you can kind of skill cancel a lot more now, we can get a lot more kind of lingering effects there, so you can get a lot more out of your damage proc with her. So overall, I think this is a very powerful uniform for her. It's going to make her DPS go through the roof. So I'm curious to see how she's going to be scoring now on No Restriction Day for Extreme Alliance Battle. That'll be pretty cool to see. I'm going to have to try to get a immune to guard break obelisk on her right now, because I don't have one. I just have a mind damage 200 proc on her, which I would like to keep, but I don't think it's going to cut it for Extreme Alliance Battle if I want to use her there, and then also for World Boss Ultimate, because there's too many chances for her to get guard broken, but I'll test her out a little bit more. Anyway, that's just going to be my thoughts on her uniform here. Definitely looking really nice, and I do think it is a worthwhile upgrade for her if you already have Scarlet Witch built up, but she is a character that's been very powerful even without this uniform. So if you have other uniforms in mind and you're kind of trying to budget your crystals, you could definitely probably get some of the other uniforms before this one, because some of the other uniforms will give a more worthwhile change to the character. It'll make them from, you know, like useless to being able to clear World Boss Ultimate kind of thing. So it's a bigger jump in power level for that character. But yeah, as you saw, I already bought this uniform. Definitely think it's worth it. And yeah, that's enough of my rambling about this. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.